What's up? Meex 1.
Yo, Meex, it's a pleasure to meet you though, brother. My name is Mikey Issacourse. I've been documenting, like honestly, like graffiti, breaking, DJing since 1994 consistency. And I just wanted to like just keep the energy like going though, you know, and I kind of always wanted to find out like what was really going on with Orange County though too, you know. Yeah. And I did an interview with Dino maybe about like 2 weeks ago, you know. So can you kind of give like a brief history about yourself and when you first got involved with hip hop?
Absolutely. Around 1986, I was living in Buena Park, formerly from Philadelphia. I had moved here in say probably about 5th grade.
Okay.
So I went through elementary school and high school in Buena Park in Orange County. And back in those days, the early days, 86, 85, 86, I started seeing b-boy things happening, mostly through movies. And there was the occasional dudes that would like show up that were breakers, and I would trip on that shit like, what is this crazy, like what is this? Couldn't wrap my head around how do you learn this? Who teaches you this stuff? So I would just start asking questions like, yo, like, how do I get down? Basically, like, how, because everything around us, for the most part, was about gangbanging. And everyone was kind of funneled into that idea. If you were either gangbanging, trying to get girls that way, or like actually gangbanging, you know what I mean? There was like, you're affiliated and there's people that you know and like family members and all that stuff, where the culture of it was involved in your everyday life. So that's where most people were putting their energy. So I knew that you could see the negative aspect of all that and see where it leads you, and I knew I didn't want to be part of that. So I was kind of looking for myself, and as soon as I saw graffiti, b-boying, and true hip-hop, I knew that was the place for me, and it just brought me in, and I just started developing my own styles. You know, I started real whack, just like my whack tag.
What was your first name when you started writing?
Scheme 1, S-K-E-E-M. So I knew that there was a scheme in New York because I had, you know, the Bible of graffiti, which was subway art. And I was like, yo, there's already a scheme. You can't have the same name as somebody. That's a bite. So I flipped it to Meex, M-E-E-K-S.
Oh,
and then eventually for speed, because I wanted to write quickly, I just wrote M-E-E-X. So one thing led to the next, and the name got shortened, and that's who I became. I became Meex 1.
I'm actually cool with Scheme though. I did an interview with him too on Instagram, and he told me, I think he said he kind of really started getting involved with Graph around 1980.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, and then basically like in what was it, Star Wars, when his mom was like, you did tore up your room.
You doodle on the paper.
That's all I do is just doodle on the paper.
Doodle on the paper. Yeah.
So
hero, true hero mind.
That's dope. So yeah, I'm gonna show you this video, Scheme. Shouts out to you though, brother.
Peace, Scheme.
Right. So during that time, how old were you when you first, like you said, like around 85, 86?
Yeah, 85, 86. I was 15, 16.
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just starting to get like really exposed to real hip hop. Like before that, it was like commercial stuff, you know, like Beat Street and little things that would be on TV or in movies, but it wasn't like the real elements of it. It was like Hollywood version of what the elements were, you know. Was
Orange County thriving like at that time when you first seen it with your eyes though? Like was it?
Yeah, there was a scene going already, like mostly poppers.
That's what Dino said.
Yeah, mostly poppers. There was a lot of poppers, and for some reason, the Chicano culture accepted popping first.
Oh, yes. So
popping came, I would assume, from South Central and the funk era.
Yeah.
Because that's the history that I've seen, just personally. And that disco funk version of how they were dancing evolved into pop locking, because it was locking first, and then it went into doing the robotish shit, and that evolved into what people call popping. So that, like I digress, it was definitely accepted more by the Chicano culture. So I grew up in a predominantly Chicano neighborhood, so I was already exposed to that element, but I didn't know the two were family or part of the same the same energy. So the first time I ever saw something was at a place called Skate Ranch.
Skate Ranch, okay.
Skate Ranch, there was a big battle. Crews from all over the place, South Central, from deep downtown LA, they had all shown up for this event, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I just came to roller skate. I didn't even know what was happening, right? So these dudes are standing in circles and like they're dancing against each other, and everyone's like, are they gonna fight? Are they gonna fight? But the people that knew they weren't gonna fight. They were there to dance against each other. And when I saw that energy, it was just so inspiring that that fire never left my heart from that day on.
That's what's up though, bro.
From that day on.
I appreciate gentlemen like yourself though too, because it's not easy holding on to hip hop like for 40 years though.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things that come and go in our lives. So many people pass away. You got to get responsible. You got to get a job. You got to start paying bills. It's not like when we were teens though, when that's, you know, that's all we did. I mean, I lived and breathed like breaking. I would sleep with my windbreakers on.
Yeah.
I would sleep, you know, like with my Pumas on. I would wake up in the morning.
Yo, I had to iron my shoelaces, iron my fat laces to make them crisp, everything crisp.
I would get my fat laces every day, and I would put like some soap and water in the sink, and I would wash them just because I want them to look new every day.
Daily.
And I had like maybe like 4 different pairs.
Yep.
But I would rotate them.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
And to me, even though my shoes wasn't the best, it was the fat laces, like the fluorescent yellow with the black, or the fluorescent red, you know, with the pink. It was like the brightness.
Your steez, that's your light. Yeah, they're like, as soon as they see you, they're like, oh, that's your shit.
Right.
Exactly. It was like your expression.
Right.
And I attribute a lot of that to how we all grew up. We all grew up, I'm assuming, when I say all, everyone that was involved in that culture in the beginning, to me, grew up in similar circumstances where we didn't have much. So you have some shoes, you got to make those shoes last.
Exactly.
So you're scrubbing them shoes every night. Toothbrush every night.
Soap and water.
Making sure everything's clean. Making sure your pants are ironed. Starched up, head to toe. You know what I'm saying? Brim is tight. Everything tight. But that's pride, and that pride is also part of our culture in a way that it's not a costume. It's a, how could I put it? It's an element. That pride is built into our element. It's self-preservation. It's presenting yourself as that character, whatever that character is, and making sure people know that that's your style. Like, this is me, you know, I'm Meex One. And when you see me, you're gonna see me, you know, fresh to death. Everything's gonna be crisp, everything's gonna be tight. You know what I mean? But I don't know where I was going with that, but.
No, it's all good. We're talking about, just the fashion side. To me, the fashion side was like it was a huge part of breaking to me though. Not only because when you went somewhere, if you seen somebody with fat laces and their hat turned to the side, you was like, that's a B-boy.
Yeah, you're like, yo.
And it was just, and we were like Jedis. We were random. There wasn't a lot of us.
No, there was very few.
Yes.
That does spark a memory. In junior high school, this kid named Smurf moved from New York, and he moved from New York to Buena Park.
Okay.
And when he moved in, like, all of his clothes were just all b-boy shit. Kango,
Really?
Cazals. He wear a fat gold chain. He wear like striped Lees, fat laces, shell toes, and I was like, yo, what? Like, where are you getting this stuff? He's like, yo, man, like, he wouldn't say. He's like, nah, this is how I dress. Like, what do you mean that's how you dress? Where do you get those Lees? Nah. You know, it was a secret, like we were talking about earlier. It was a tightly kept secret just because of that pride element. It's like, this is our culture, this is our thing, we have to protect it. And if we don't protect it, these outside forces, they're gonna destroy it or take it away from us.
Yeah.
So that's a part of it as well. Like, that's part of the culture, is like that defending the culture and defending like what you had. It's progressed and it's elevated and it's I don't know, what's the word? I don't know, it's turned into other things. It's, what's the word, man? I'm lost for words.
As far as like the way, like
just the way that it was then as compared to the way it is now.
Yeah.
It's grown in different ways. It's not the same anymore.
Right. I feel like I was telling you earlier, I feel like it expanded.
Yes.
But without the knowledge part.
Exactly. There's a missing piece sometimes to it.
Right.
That people don't talk about, and people don't.
Exactly.
Our age, especially, don't imbibe to the youth. We don't give it to the youth, and it's kind of our responsibility.
It is
to do that. That's why I teach my kids this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, when kids ask me about stuff, I love to talk to them about it. It brings back that fire in me, and I want to share it.
Right. I'm the same way too. Like I feel like, especially us, like being, like followers, like of the true spirit of hip hop.
Yeah.
I feel like your stories and other people need to be documented, and just shared though, because like breaking is amazing, like everything's amazing, but like there's a story to all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a story to Mikey Ice. There's a story to, like how you said when you first seen it.
Yep.
And those stories are kind of like, they kind of remind me like King Tut. Like they're buried in the pyramids.
Yeah.
And like you got to go into the pyramids, like to bring out those stories, because if not, it's like once somebody pass away,
it's gone.
Like it's gone.
It's gone. And also, to bring that analogy of the pyramids too, it's like young kids are archaeologists that discover it, brush it off, but they don't know what it means. They don't know how to decipher the language, so they make up their own meaning to it. So there's danger in that, but there's also beauty in that, because they're bringing their own elements to it too.
Yeah.
Which is definitely part of the original idea, being an original person. Like, don't bite people. You know what I mean? Make up your own you.
Yes.
Make your own you.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. There's this like, it's kind of like this little issue going on with breaking, with people that came out with their signature moves.
Yeah.
People are saying like it's okay, like to basically to bite somebody's signature moves, because now it's becoming a part of like the foundation. But I'm
Sure.
thinking like, I get what you're saying, but that's like me going in your house,
Right.
and just like doing whatever I want, because it's like now I think it's okay because I'm your neighbor. It's
Right.
like, especially when it comes to hip hop, that was always the rule. Even when I seen B Street.
Yeah, exactly.
Even before B Street.
Even before B Street, and like even if you look at the history, like Subway art, you had a mentor. You had somebody showing you the old way first before you went out and did anything. Like someone was teaching you, and you didn't do a piece until you filled in pieces for that mentor.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
true,
You didn't you learned outlines. You would learn everything from that mentor before you go out and actually do your own pieces. So that whole mentorship idea sort of has broken apart in all of our elements. There's no mentors. There's no mentors for rappers. You know what I mean? It's like, just go do your thing, whatever
Right.
it is. You see it on YouTube, copy that style. It's cool. Do it. You sound just like so and so. Whatever, man. It's all good. You're getting yours. But that's not the way that it was. There was consequence. Somebody seen you doing their style. They roll up on you. It's on.
Oh, it's on, bro.
It's on. So, not to glorify or say that violence was good or it should be done in any way, but it was definitely a part of the culture from day one.
From day one.
And maybe we need to bring back the idea of that, but not in a violent way.
Right.
But there must be a way to do it in a more elevated way.
Right. I think like today, basically, probably just having a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Because everything's so touchy. Like if you speak up, then you're considered like a hater, or
Right.
or you're just griping, because you won't let the new kids shine. It's like everybody can shine. There's enough. For me, there's always been enough for you and me.
Yep. Yeah.
That's how I always feel. Like, don't think because I want to speak the truth that like I'm boxing you guys out. It's
Right.
Everything in breaking everything in hip hop always had a mentorship.
Right.
That's how people learn how to DJ.
For sure.
That's how you said how people learn how to write.
Yeah.
That's how people learn how to do anything. You always have somebody over you to say, you know what? I'm gonna show you what to do though. Like this is the outline. At least follow the outline. Remember when
Yep.
Trap was with Dez
Exactly,
in
Trap
Star
and
Wars,
Dez. This is
and he was
exactly
like,
what I was
Trap,
thinking.
Trap. He thought he wanted to go do his own things, but he said just follow the outline.
Yeah, exactly.
Just follow the outline.
Do
You
what I
know?
ask you to do. Like, and then when you are ready to do yours, it's the same idea. It's
Right.
ancient ideas. When you're ready to do your thing, you're ready.
Right,
When the student teaches the master, that's when it's time.
right,
You know what I mean? It's ancient wisdom.
right. And I just feel like you said it is our responsibility to share this information.
Yeah.
And for the people that want to follow it and to learn about it,
Yep.
they will gravitate to it. I never force or push my information on anybody, because I remember being 12 years old, 13 years old. I wasn't trying to hear nothing my dad said.
No, not a single thing.
Honestly, the more he said not to do it, I wanted to do it.
Right, right.
The more that he said I was a waste of time, I was just like, then I'm gonna waste my time.
Yeah, yeah,
I kind of wish that my elders, my parents, and them would have sat down and said, let me see it.
yeah.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
Try to understand
Right.
it a little bit. Yeah.
Everything was like, oh, is this, that's not what Jesus would do. My family was very religious.
Yeah, yeah.
So they would come at me hard though, like, what would Jesus do? Like if he seen you out there
Writing on stuff.
writing on stuff, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'm glad you shared that. Can you also share with me the first time, like you said earlier, when you first ran into Dino? Because I
okay.
know he's gonna see this.
Yeah, man. Well, in high school, his brother and I were in the same grade level, so we knew each other through hip hop basically because he
Okay.
was rapping and making beats and stuff, and we were both sort of like being exposed to it at the same time. And I met his little brother because we were both dancers,
What was his brother's name?
Dino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. His little Eddie's
Yeah,
little
yeah, you're
brother
right.
is Dino.
Okay.
So I met Dino because he was the dancer, and I love to dance, but
Were you breaking or just
I was
dancing?
breaking at first. In the early 80s, I was breaking. Wasn't
Okay.
that great at it. You know what I'm saying? More popping than breaking, because that was my first exposure.
Okay.
So I had a little bit of footwork, a little bit of ups, but then when me and Dino connected, we kept talking, because we love East Coast hip hop.
Right.
Love hip hop on the West, don't get me wrong, but East Coast hip hop came to me first. And that's what influenced me first, and that's what I was seeing and wanted to emulate basically, because I felt like it was the mecca. It was the
Me
it was
too.
the beginning of where it all started, and that's where the energy started. So I felt like I looked there first, and of course what's happening here. So him and I started connecting on that level, and we would just like go to functions, go to jams together, like do our little thing. And like during that time there wasn't a lot of outlets, especially in Orange County,
Yeah.
to do that. So we'd end up in a backyard party, not knowing it's right in the hood of some, Tokerstown or Eastside Buena Park. So we roll in and we hear the hip hop, and we're like, as soon as hip hop came on, we're like, oh, we gotta get it. So we get in there, start grooving, like doing our stuff, and sure enough, everybody at the party that's their party started getting heated because the girls start paying attention to us. And as soon as that happened, it was on. So it's like boom. As soon as they saw us getting attention, it was instant beatdown. So in some ways we had to fight in order to even do hip hop, because
Me too.
people were not accepting of that. They were just like, man, that shit's whack. Don't do that shit here. We're essays, Holmes. We don't do that shit.
Bro, I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to share
please
with you
tell me.
when I was up north.
Yeah.
I lived in a little town called Madera. Madera was we had a gang situation.
Okay.
They were called Northsiders.
Yep.
And I remember we would go to house parties. This was around the time when they came out with EPMD, You Got to
Oh,
Chill,
yeah, that's the jam.
Raw Bass, It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Who else?
And they were playing at those parties too.
Yeah.
Because they love hip hop, the sound of hip hop. They love the sound of hip hop,
Right,
but not the culture of it.
right.
Yeah.
So I remember us being the dancers, like, once we got inside and we got the circle going,
Yeah.
and the girls started like making that circle, bro. I remember it was to the point where whoever threw that party told us that we had to go out the back way
Yep.
because like the homeboys is like
Waiting
they're
for you.
outside there waiting, bro.
Waiting.
Because
same
like
situation.
all the girls that they wanted to talk to, we got their numbers.
Yeah, you got their numbers. That's no good.
That was no good
That's
though, bro. And honestly, we had to get escorted many times though out the back. And like we would drive off and we would see them like still waiting, like with sticks.
Yeah.
Like the Warriors though, bro. Like,
Yep.
They was on some warrior shit though,
Yeah,
bro. And
man.
they wanted our heads as dancers though, but we knew in advance we got the scoop that you guys need to go out the back though first.
Right.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, exactly.
And honestly, even within that party, fights will break out.
Every party we went to, a fight would break out.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt. We just knew it was a matter of time. Either there was a fight or the cops were going to show up. So get it where we could get it. Come in, dance, do our thing, and Dino and I were at parties where it was a literal rain of 40 bottles just being thrown at us. Just rain. It felt like rain from the sky of just 40 bottles, beer bottles.
Who was doing this? The Cholos?
The essays, yeah, because they didn't want us in their parties.
Oh, that's crazy.
Not to mention, like, there's already, like, if you see me rolling in to a deep hood, they're like, who is this white motherfucker walking in talking to my girl? Instantly, like, what? It's on. So I've been sucker punched, all that stuff.
Damn. During that time, were you kind of like the only white kid that was kind of, besides Easy Rock?
Yeah, and I had never met Easy.
You didn't meet Easy Rock back
Not
then?
until 94, 95.
Okay.
When he was doing his shop in Santa Ana.
Oh, yeah.
So that around that era, around the first era, right before the B-Boy Summit started. He had just had his shop and he was closing his shop there.
Right. Can you tell me a little bit about that, like his shop? Because I seen it on the back of the magazine that the hip hop shop had.
Yeah.
And it said Funky Revolution. It had a picture of a b-boy with an oversized Kango.
Yep.
And some spray cans on the floor. And I seen the address said Santa Ana on it.
Yep.
But I never got a chance to go to it.
Yep. It was at Main and 17th in Santa Ana, and I remember it was on the corner of 17th, and it was very reminiscent of the first hip hop shop. Shout out Hex, TGO. The very first hip hop shop.
TGO, I remember that name.
Yeah, Hex TGO. And it was very inspired, I think, by Hex's idea of that shop. So he opened his shop in Santa Ana, like apparently from where he grew up, which I didn't know because I hadn't met him yet. And it was the same vibe. It was like all hip hop stuff. All Fat Laces, all Adidas, Puma.
Did they have a dance floor and all that?
Dance floor, yeah, little dance floor.
Okay.
The whole thing, like graffiti going on, everything. So it was like, oh, this is dope. But literally, as soon as I found out about it, it closed because, like I said before, he had been robbed several times. Like people in the neighborhood were not receptive to what he was doing.
And Santa Ana's predominantly Mexican, right?
Yeah, essays, the same thing. And not to mention, at that point, South Central had started like factioning out into Santa Ana. They learned that Santa Ana was pretty much free game, so they were setting up shop, selling rock. So there was factions of like of Bloods and Crips coming into Santa Ana, setting up shop. There was the Lime Street Bloods. There was I can't remember, man, but there were cliques coming out of South Central and setting up shop in Santa Ana, and like basically starting cliques. And those cliques turned into basically business operations for slanging crack. So it got so bad that the Santa Ana PD thought it would be a good idea to manufacture cocaine and sell it to set people up. But they were making rock in the basement of the police station.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and not only that, they got popped because they were taking money. They were taking cash bribes from drug dealers. So they basically just became drug dealers as well. It was wild. I was living in Santa Ana.
You're the first person to honestly reveal that. I would hear that in other documentaries, you know, like just like within like black people talking about gang culture.
Yeah.
But they would reveal that information.
Shit,
you know?
Cube said it in what song is that? Where they set up shop in the Midwest.
Oh yeah, I know what
remember
you're talking
lyrics,
about.
but he was saying like they would take it from South Central. Now it's South Central in the middle of a cornfield and shit.
Right.
So it was the same thing. It was like free open territory, like, oh, nobody's got this locked, so we're gonna move in and just take over. So it was a wild time, man.
Yeah.
You couldn't walk around without getting hit up by somebody. Everyone was asking you where you from. Immediately, that was the conversation. Where you from? Where you from? Where you from? And it's like,
If you don't mind. Yeah.
Gotcha, sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. So that I remember that time. I just remember like around 86.
Yep.
I remember I came to school and my friend had the Puma windbreaker.
Yep.
And everybody was just like, we don't do that no more. And in our minds, we're like, we're gonna still do it.
Right.
But then like I noticed the surgeons of the Bones Brigade
Oh yeah.
Tony Hawk,
Yeah,
Steve
yeah.
Caballero,
Yep,
Lance Mountain, Mike McGill.
Yeah.
Skateboarding had just filled that void
Yep.
where breaking was just dying. So all my friends gave up their Pumas and fat laces
And went to skateboards?
and got into skateboarding.
Oh,
Everybody came to school with Vision Streetwear,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Quicksilver,
Right.
you know, and
Caballero.
yeah, me being young too, like I wanted to do, like I made the transition too.
Yeah, because you wanted to, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You
thought
know?
that was dope too.
Right.
Yeah.
So like around, I want to say around 88 when Big Daddy Kane first came out.
Yes.
When UMTV Raps first came out, that's when I noticed that same energy that was from the 80s.
Yep. Still existed.
Yeah, it was making another comeback.
There's a duality there too, though, especially for us living on the West Coast. And this is what I noticed most. In 1988, when Colors came out, it became a trend for a lot of people to switch to that style. So even though they weren't gangbanging, they took on the persona of being a gangster because that's what people were starting to become attracted to. Like when I say people, girls, you know what I mean? Like being hard and being that dude became important for a lot of kids, and a lot of the dudes that were b-boys transitioned into that. And they gave up b-boy and they're like, nah, I gangbang now. That's my thing. Like,
you know what was crazy when I was watching Colors
yeah.
and Geraldo's popping.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I seen that, like I knew what it was, but I was like, you know, but he was clean.
Right.
He started popping. He put out the joint,
Yeah.
but he was clean.
Yeah, yeah.
But come to find out, Dino said, I'm not for sure, but I think is he from Orange County?
Oh, I don't know. He might be. I don't know, man. I don't know the history.
Okay.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Right. But like, I think when it came to popping, from my research, that didn't completely die like breaking.
Okay.
Because I think Poppin' Pete and like the Electric Boogaloos and
Yeah.
Wiggles, they kept going.
Right.
And then people in Germany and Europe kept going.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, so the popping element never really died, but the breaking, it did.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
That's weird because a lot of things, a lot of the elements in hip hop went to Europe and kept growing, while a lot of it became stagnant here too.
I know.
Like early 2000s, especially with the whole bling movement and like everybody up on like, you know, Diddy tips and all of that shit. When it was like champagne and money, the true hip hop, or what we love, was flourishing in Europe, and here it was like, nah, that shit's played.
I
Like, I'm not
know.
doing that shit anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy that all elements kind of took that turn.
I just remember, yeah, like for a while they had like old school on the radio, like 96, 97, 98.
Yeah,
Once the Hot Boys came out,
yeah, it was over.
it just died though,
Died.
bro. Like radio from there was everything was just, it was Hot Boys era. They ushered in that everybody from the South, like
And
Diddy
everybody,
Mob.
before then, they had like real DJing going on, scratching,
Oh, on
transitions.
Fridays we had a mix master show
Yeah.
in Fresno. It was from like 8 in the morning to 12 in the
Oh shit.
afternoon, and we had a DJ called DJ X-Ray.
Okay.
He wasn't originally from Fresno, but he got a job at a radio station in Fresno called B95.
Okay.
And he was spent from 8 to 12 though, bro, and this dude was cutting it up like this.
Like real. Yeah, yeah.
Right. You know, and like it was amazing, but yeah, once 2000 came in though, bro, and the Hot Boys came in, like
Knocked it all down.
they knocked it all down. But me being like a what you want to say, a visionary,
Yeah.
I went to go look for it
Word.
because I know that I couldn't get it in the music, but physically I wanted to go look for it, and that's when I started making my way more like up north to like
Okay, give me a couple minutes. He's filming right now. Okay. Thanks.
It's okay.
I understand. We gotta go.
Right, so that's when I kind of started making my way, like, you know, like going out and seeking out other people that was involved, like,
Yeah.
you know, with the true school hip hop. I'll pause for a second.